Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the January 8th, 2026 meeting of the Abington Township Board of Commissioners. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioners Rosenbaum. Here. Rothman.
Here.
DePlacido.
Here.
Laney Martin.
Present.
Brown.
Here.
Weingrab.
Here.
Henry.
Here.
Sapone.
Here.
Young Darts.
Here.
Spiegelman.
Here.
Ball.
Here.
Schreiber.
Here.
Bowman.
Here.
Vice President Vehy.
Here.
President Hecker.
Here. Thank you. May we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and good evening. We have a packed audience tonight because we have the great pleasure of swearing in two new officers who are going to join the Abington Police Department, and we're honored to have with us this evening Chief Pat Malloy. Chief, come forward. It's extra if you want volume.
How's that?
I think it's good.
That work?
That sound good.
Very good. All right, thank you, President Hecker. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my distinct honor to be here this evening. I have the pleasure of introducing our two newest officers. I'm going to invite President Hecker to join me. President Hecker will swear each officer in, but before we do the swearing in, I would like to call up Officer Casey Decker first. Let's hear it for Casey. Casey comes to us from Huntington Valley, where he resides now. He's a graduate of Upper Moreland High School. He's also has a BA or BS in business management from Delaware Valley University, where he played quarterback for the varsity team, Division II, III? Division III. How was your team? We're good. Okay, very good. All right, yeah. But anyway, he's joined here this evening by his parents, Christine and Edward, and his brother Ed, and your grandmom, and your sister-in-law, is that? Yes, so, yeah, okay, not yet. But anyway, welcome. And President Hecker, and also his uncle, special guest and a good friend of mine, Captain John Hearn, was 30-plus years in Philadelphia leadership and highway patrol, and now he's the chief of Newtown Township in Bucks County. So, Chief, it's really it's a pleasure to have you here. It's an honor to have you here with us. So, we'll swear you in, and if you have a parent or anybody who would like to hold the Bible.
Would you like someone to hold the Bible? Raise your right hand, put your left hand on the Bible. Repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Casey Decker, do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution and the laws of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws of the United States,
the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the Township of Abington,
and the Township of Abington,
that I will faithfully discharge with fidelity
that I will faithfully discharge with fidelity
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
and will obey the rules, regulations, and policies and procedures
and will obey the rules and regulations and policies and procedures
governing all sworn members of the Abington Township Police Department.
governing all sworn members of the Abington Township.
Officer Decker, welcome to the Abington Township Police Department.
All right. Felipe Marrero, will you, Officer Marrero, please join me. And honestly, I didn't mention in the beginning, it's a distinct honor for me to introduce these officers in behalf of my command staff who's here. Many officers, many are on the street, but also the president of the board, President Hecker, Vice President Vehy, the entire Board of Commissioners, and Manager Chrisman, and our directors and staff. It really is a family, the Abington Township Police Department, so I just want to welcome you all on behalf of that. But it's my pleasure to introduce Felipe Marrero Currently lives in Philadelphia. He was born in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and his parents are watching this live. So make sure you look good, smile, and say hi to your mom.
Hey, oi mãe, oi pai. Yeah. That's
Was that? And he speaks Portuguese. So he served as a police officer and a sheriff in Alabama before attending the Montgomery County Police Academy. His parents are Normando and Evelise, right? And your younger sister's Amanda. Is she over watching also? All right. And your older half brother is Fabio. He has a beautiful daughter, Ivy, who's 2 years old. His fiance, Chelsea, is here with us. Where's Chelsea? Welcome, Chelsea. And is that Chelsea's father? And so welcome. Rich, welcome. And Felipe was the valedictorian of the police academy class with a 98.86, one of the highest I think that they ever had. And in my conversations with him, when he was in Brazil, he was the equivalent to law school. You were in law school, spent a year in law school before moving to the United States. So really a great story, and we are so proud to have you here. And I'm going to turn it over to President Hecker, and if you want to have somebody come up to hold the flag.
I state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Felipe Moreira, do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution and the laws of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws of the United States,
the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the Township of Abington,
and the Township of Abington,
that I will faithfully discharge,
that I will faithfully discharge
with fidelity,
with fidelity
the duties of my
the
office,
duties of my office,
and will obey the rules and regulations
will obey the rules and regulations,
and policies and procedures
policies and procedures
governing all sworn members of the Abington Township Police Department.
governing the all sworn members of the Abington Township Police Department.
Congratulations and welcome to the Abington Police Department, sir. Thank you.
You guys can take off. You don't want to listen to the agenda, I'm sure. You can watch it later. We'll be recording.
We'll just give them a minute or two, and then we'll...
The vintage, and watch it if you'd like.
I'm just going to make them, get them out the door. Okay, we're going to get back to the agenda. And next on the agenda is public comment on items that the board will be voting on this evening. And if you wish to speak, please come forward, state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
The minutes of 2 priorities. 1, highlight scripted agenda. I have to start again. It's not. The minutes have 2 priorities. 1, highlight citizen statements that agree with the scripted agenda. These citizens are quoted without any errors in paragraph form. Citizens that present issues of great public importance or dissent are given as little as 2 sentences and inaccurately quoted in the minutes continually. 2, suppress disturbing statements made by commissioners and the solicitor. Presenting issues of public importance or asking unwanted questions means being interrupted or cut off by Mr. Hecker. Mr. Hecker has a long habit of whispering into the microphone while I'm speaking that what I am saying is not true or possibly insane. Vice President Veilley, a lawyer, sits silently while this goes on. Nothing I stated last month was recorded in the minutes accurately. Was I surprised? No. The principles of free speech are habitually violated. I shared that videos are doctored and re-edited months and possibly years later. Example, commissioners lavish compliments on Mr. Manfredi at the December 2024 board meeting. These compliments demonstrated a broken power structure. Mr. Manfredi was a township employee that commissioners answered to. Commissioners considered Mr. Manfredi their admired leader, kind mentor, and a support for their families. These oddly inappropriate comments made by commissioners have been incrementally removed from the video. Audio difficulties were added and were made over the year. The vast number of compliments can no longer be heard. Questions do not get answered or recorded here. The secretary does the bidding of commissioners. Why is the solicitor regularly reviewing police reports? This is inappropriate. Those with knowledge have stated that 3 reports of township harassment made by me were trashed by the solicitor. Why is there no record of 3 complaints made over a period of a couple of years? Mr. Malloy, the police chief, lies to accommodate commissioners and officials that approve of dangerous decline and are against free speech. Others have said that Mr. Malloy lies. The solicitor overseeing daily police reports, code enforcement, township policy, and supervising commissioners and Mr. Manfredi, who is now on the EDC, does not seem like a good idea, for sure. It seems absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. Are you going to answer any questions? I asked a lot of them. Would you like me to repeat them? No, you didn't hear them. You're not opening your ears, and you don't want to hear them. I asked lots of questions. I said, why is the solicitor regularly reviewing police reports? Is the solicitor official?
Ms. Scubell, your time has expired. Take your seat. Thank you.
Of course, I'd be happy to.
Thank you
Please
for
stop telling me to take my seat. I know the deal.
Well, thank you for doing that. Anyone else wishes to come forward, please do.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Rooney. I live in Ardsley. Just a few quick things. First, Happy New Year, and hope you all had a good Christmas also. To our newest commissioner, welcome. I hope, congratulations on your victory, and I hope you decide to make a difference, because we do need a lot of work, and we need a lot of help. What a great way to start the meeting with swearing in 2 new police officers. And just a few short things. One, thank you to our whole police department for what they did last year, and look forward to supporting them in the coming year. Now we have 2 new police. On a small personal note, where I live in Ardsley, they pick up trash on Thursdays. So we had Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, and they all fell on Thursday. For Mr. Jones in Public Works, oh, there he is, great job. These guys hustled. They were working hard on Friday to pick everything up, which is, it's notable and it's noteworthy and it's worth thanking. So these guys, the same crew, had 3 holidays right in a row, and I can only look at where I live, but they were working hard. The weather wasn't complimentary to or wasn't cooperative with them, and I appreciate the stuff that they did. And just want to point that out, because they do a lot of stuff and not get thanked. And that was it. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here that wishes to come forward? If not, we'll go to Zoom. Or is there someone? Yeah, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Bill Pritz. I live on Castlewood Road here in Abington. I've been a resident for 31 years. I love the township. I love everything that's going on. I just want to bring to your attention that the overpopulation of the deer in our area has become a great concern
Yes.
to me and several of my neighbors. there's really no way of controlling them. I know we're moving in on their territory and they're moving in on ours, but my wife has pretty much given up on taking care of any of the property because the deer just come and eat everything. I've tried sprays, I've tried different things to take care of things. It's not happening. The only way that realistically they're being controlled is accidents. I'm one that had to pay out $6,000 in damages to my truck because the deer are running amok throughout the neighborhood. I have 15 deer the other day sitting in my backyard, and they pretty much just look at me and go, whatever, we're not going to do anything because you're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Just last night, my daughter, who goes to school, beauty school in Philadelphia, we're there till 10 o'clock. She comes home, she gets out of her car, and she's confronted with a 6-point buck in the front yard, and she can't move forward. She went, blah, trying to get rid of him, didn't do anything. She stomped her feet, didn't do anything. She finally had to slide up beside my truck that was damaged, around the back of it, and finally stamp her foot, and the deer finally moved out after it ate the pumpkins that were on my front porch. So I'm asking, what can we do somehow to control this population of deer, and how can we make sure the deer are not being culled only by vehicles?
Yeah. Well, your timing is excellent because later tonight, item E under new business will be a discussion, no vote tonight, but a presentation from the police department and others about a deer management process here in Abington Township. So I invite you to stay, listen, and you can share your thoughts and comments with us offline as we figure out how to take that and turn it into something that is actionable.
Thank you for your time.
No, I appreciate you coming out. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the room that wishes to speak? And if not, I'll turn it over to Zoom.
Laura Lehman.
So, first of all, I also am concerned about the deer and that we do something to manage them. However, I don't know how many people know about it, but in Cheltenham, who just started their deer hunting more recently, a hunter just got shot by another hunter. So all of us have been telling you for years that our children who play in those parks don't watch the signs or look for yellow tape. They go through back ways and holes through fences and other ways to get into the parks. So deer hunting by bow and arrow in our parks is not an acceptable way to do it. Then the problem I have here is you're going to have a discussion, but the residents like this gentleman and myself will be left out of it because you didn't include a discussion that would include the community. And the whole discussion should have the community, should hear what people have to say about the ideas. And also we've had in the past, the cruelty to the animals is unbelievable. We had a deer that was shot with an arrow, tried to jump over the fence, didn't have enough left to get over, and impaled themselves on the Albathorpe fence. So hunting is not the right way to go. There are other ways to do it. And the second thing that I want to discuss is that there was no discussion about the two meetings. We don't know what you have in mind or how you plan to do that. And nothing in this township should happen without the people being given a heads up and a chance to weigh in on it, because you represent us, and you can't represent us if we don't know what you're doing and tell you what we feel about it. So that is not appropriate. So the thing that came up tonight, I think, is just, if you don't have a quorum, you can set another meeting. That's what it looked like. But I assume there's more to it, and we had no discussion of that anywhere. So it should not be a voting item at this point. Nothing should be a voting item that hasn't come before the public in a committee meeting or another place where the public can take part. And also, people who don't know that it's happening need to have a place where they find out, and then they alert others whether it's important to come. So please stop doing the once and done, bringing things right for a vote. And I have other issues that I'll bring up at the end of the meeting comment period. Thank you.
I think that's all for public comment, and so we will now turn to the consent agenda, and for that, I will turn to Board Vice President Matt Behe.
Thank you. I move for passage of the consent agenda listed as items A through D. And so I move.
Second.
It's been moved and, moved and seconded, but we have a question from the Commissioner. Commissioner Schreiber.
On the consent agenda, item, the second B, should it be motion to reappoint rather than appoint?
Yes, it should state to appoint and/or reappoint new members to authorities, boards, and commissions.
Okay, so appoint and/or reappoint. Solicitor, do we have to do anything different than what we've done so far?
I think Commissioner Schreiber is suggesting that it needs to be amended.
Okay.
Commissioner Vahey made the original motion. I'm assuming he'll accept the amendment, and then you can just vote.
I accept the amendment.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The consent agenda carries. We have no unfinished business, so we're going to turn to new business, and I will once again turn the mic over to Board Vice President Matt Behe.
Thank you, Mr. President. First item is BOC-05010826. Motion to adopt resolution number 26-007, appointing authorized signers for the Township of Abington 457 deferred compensation plans. And I so move.
Second. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any comments or questions from commissioners? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
Next item is BOC-06-010826. Motion to authorize advertisement of an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Abington at Part 2, General Legislation, Chapter 92, Garbage, Rubbish, and Refuse, Section 18, Payment of Fee, Collection, and 23, Fee, and providing an effective date therefore, and I so move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
Next item is BOC-07-010826. Motion to authorize advertisement of an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Abington at Part 1, Administrative Legislation, Chapter 19, Meetings, Section 2, Date, Time, and Location. And I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next item is BOC-08-010826. Motion to adopt Resolution 26-009, the appointment of Zoning Hearing Board Member Michael O'Connor, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I think we just need to clarify, this is a reappointment as well. Mr. O'Connor has been on the Zoning Hearing Board for a decade. So with that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And last item is BOC-09-010826, Proposed Deer Population Mitigation Program.
Mr. Chrisman, you want to kick us off?
Thank you, Mr. President. This evening, Deputy Chief Porter is here tonight to present a recommended proposed deer population mitigation program for your consideration this evening. It's our intent to have the Deputy Chief present this evening. Board members, if you have questions related to the program, I'm sure there will be many. If we could direct those to the Deputy Chief tonight. This matter will come back before you in 2 weeks for a vote and consideration for final adoption.
Good evening, Deputy Chief.
Good evening, President Hecker. Thank you, and thank you, Manager Chrisman, and members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight about the growing deer population and the impact within the township. I think it's evident that it's becoming a growing and increasing issue with our residents and something we need to address. And we're thankful that the police department's been tasked to look into this and provide some options. So,
Well, Deputy Chief, you've now done it all for the township. I mean, you've been the DARE officer, you're a Deputy Chief, and now you're going to eliminate the deer population, so
well,
thank you.
I don't know about elimination, but we want to definitely control the population a little bit. Yes, sir.
From dare to deer. That's my only comment.
Thank you. As you'll see the brief slide presentation here, it's very self-explanatory here. The complaints and the vehicle collisions have risen, And oftentimes, what we find is our parks are a safe haven, the green spaces, they become a safe haven. The residential areas, like the gentleman that spoke, I forget your name, sir, I apologize, Bill. But you're absolutely correct, and we're aware that the issues in your neighborhood as well. This is a two-pronged approach, what the township's recommending, but just a little bit about deer management in the overview here. Public safety is our number one concern in all aspects, whether it's vehicle collisions, people being intimidated by deer, as that Bill mentioned earlier here when he spoke. Protection of the residents' properties. We're receiving many complaints about people's lawn ornaments being, their ornamentation in their lawns being eaten, things like that. Vehicle damage, like I mentioned earlier, the environmental impact, the over-browsing that deer causes, and then the loss of native vegetation. That's always a concern of ours as well. One thing I do want to point out, and it's usually obvious for many people, unfortunately, the tick-borne diseases that are associated with the deer, and especially in southeastern PA, and unfortunately, especially in our area, is quite prevalent. We're approaching in the winter season. It's not that prevalent until we have bad weather. Then we have starvation because of the overpopulation. They cannot reach the food sources that they need to in the ground and maintain their healthy population. Non-lethal methods, we're going to talk a little bit about everything here, but the non-lethal methods, they're extremely expensive and they're really logistically limited. And I know that the caller on the phone had made a comment about not shooting deer, but we do look at every option and what's the most economical and what's the most effective, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. There is some concern, like, are we going to let people come into the township and hunt on properties and just waste the deer, get rid of them? That's not the case. The case is that they will be required to abide by all Pennsylvania Game Commission laws, regulations. In addition, this state has had in place for quite a long time hunters sharing the harvest, which our own animal control officer, who's seated in the back, if you haven't met him yet, Officer Jerry Check, who is a former game warden, is very familiar with this program. And just as a couple weeks ago, he was picking deer meat up to be donated to a local church. And that would be our intention, that there is no waste, that it gets donated. I do want to mention that Cheltenham, during the government shutdown, had it seemed like a popular program. It was promoted online that they were donating the venison meat to their residents that were having difficulty making ends meet during that shutdown. The neighboring municipalities, speaking of Cheltenham and Upper Dublin, they've implemented these programs already, and we feel that this is having an impact on Abington as well, to the deer population, even into the individual's neighborhood that you're experiencing them in. When they are pushed out of one area or hunted, they will move into other areas that they receive no pressure, and we feel that this is also an issue that we're dealing with. And we definitely want to be good neighbors and good stewards of our residents. As Manager Chrisman often says, that's our job, to take care of our residents. And this is an ongoing concern. I wish we had a way to capture the number of complaints. And as our animal control officer could attest to you, the number of phone calls that come, the number of voicemails that are left with no identifying information, just take care of the deer population, do something, whatever it may be, they've risen, and I wish I had a percentage to give you. If I said 100%, I think I'd be low over the last couple years on that. But we want to be responsible. We want to use some data-driven solutions to address this issue. So the two-track approach I mentioned. First, we'd like to do something to address at least some of the deer population this year. If it is approved, that would leave us with about 1 day left in the season to conduct a hunt. And what we would suggest that would be January 24th. And then the next portion of this would be to develop a sustainable program that for township-wide deer management that we can be implemented later in the year. That requires more work on our part, because the township has an additional 300+ acres that's township-owned. Some of that would be very ripe, if you would, to be enrolled in a program like this that we could use to address the deer population. But we do want to do a lot more work on that part, so we don't necessarily want to address that today as a whole program, but that is the approach that we would like to take. Here's the staggering statistics, if you will, and these are just deer encounters that we have documented, and there are 5-fold that are not documented. So over the past 5 years, we've had a 73% increase in deer-related calls, and that's 82% over the last 6 years. And it's somewhat deceiving because the majority of people we find that strike deer with their cars don't call the police. They don't want an accident report. And many times the deer are injured, they run off, they die miles away, or they don't die at all, they just remain injured, hobbling around yards, and people have damage on their car, they call their insurance companies, and they take care of it. So that's kind of a deceiving number there, but that's the best we can track right now. We're trying to implement some measures to track things better, but even at that, 73% over the past 5 years is pretty significant. And there's, as you can see in the last couple of years, there's a significant jump there as well. So what we're recommending to do is to conduct one controlled hunt in Alvethorpe Park this month, and that would be the last day of the actual season. That would be January 24th. We've previously conducted hunts there with the group that we're going to talk about here in a minute, and they've been very successful as managing the deer population. And somebody asked before, well, why don't you just kill all the deer? I want to be clear, that is not our goal to kill every deer in the township. I know there are people that feel strongly about killing all the deer, and there are people that feel strongly about not touching a hair on a deer. We understand that. The idea is to manage the deer population. And to get an idea of what that looks like, the Pennsylvania Game Commission suggests the vicinity of 20 deer per square mile. A square mile is about 640 acres.
Oh, my God.
So Alvethorpe Park is 113 acres. The next question is, how many deer are in Alvethorpe Park? So
More than 20, I'm sure.
yeah, so our very close, Commissioner Spiegelman, our average is 30 or more on any given day. They come and go as they please, they transition in and out, much like some of the neighborhoods. So that is a lot. To put that in perspective, Jenkintown Borough is about 360 acres, the entire borough. A half square mile, 0.6 square miles. So we are just in Alvethorpe Park that only has about 94 wooded acres, way over that. So anyways, I think that supports the thing that the statement up there that the park has become a refuge for the deer. And that contributes to the population and the complaints. It used to be that was the area of the township that we would receive most of the complaints. It's not so anymore. And I believe I shared, we have them in Ardsley now quite frequently. Roslyn, this is probably the first year in 5 or 6 years that I remember anybody calling about Roslyn, complaining about the deer eating their plants. And for those that aren't aware, 3 weeks ago, we had a deer in our back parking lot right here at the township building. What? Yeah, walking right through the parking lot, about 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's crazy.
So that gives you an indication of what the population's looking like in the township. Yeah, yes, ma'am, you are correct. There's a wooded area by Willow Hill School that supports a lot of deer, things like that at the park. Yeah. Yeah. So immediately, we need to do a little bit more coordination. I've spoke with the Director of Parks and Rec and some of the staff and the township staff. We need to coordinate a little bit with them if we want to make this happen this year, at least to do something. And they call it do something before the fawning season where we can have some impact. Our goal at the police department is to make sure that this happens safely, efficiently, and effectively. We're going to handle, actually, the notification of the residents surrounding the park, with the temporary closure of the park that would be needed. In the park, we're not looking for that day to close the park the entire day. We don't want the residents to be without a park. We don't need that park closed for the entire day. In the past history, they've closed the park till about 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and we were done. They were out of there. And you wouldn't know otherwise that anything occurred in that park that day. So that would be temporary closure, at least of 1 day if that was permitted later this year. So what we're recommending is that we allow the Abington Deer Management Group to participate in this hunt. And the reason we're recommending that, they've conducted this exact hunt that we've suggested. They've been participating in this for over 30 years, but they've done this hunt several times. They are insured. We know that their members are vetted, and that they have demonstrated compliance with the Pennsylvania Game Commission laws and regulations. They require their archers to be qualified, and it's not that they let anybody in the group to do that. So that helps us expedite the process, that we can get somebody in here that we feel that's insured, trusted, vetted, and it can address our concerns in a more prevalent manner here. So the police department's role in this, we're going to oversee the public safety in general, park security, notifications and compliance. We have a great working relationship, thanks to our animal control officer with the Pennsylvania Game Commission. They've assured us through conversations that they would assist in any way possible, and if possible on their end, they'll even provide an officer to be on site with us to make sure that everybody's adhering to the rules. And I mentioned about the hunters sharing the harvest earlier, and I have reached out, and we have a couple representatives from Abington Deer Management here. If there are any questions that I cannot answer or anyone else, we can ask them directly. But they do and have and continue, in fact, to participate in hunters sharing the harvest, which I think is just a great opportunity for some of our residents that may not have the opportunity to fill their plates, if you will, and struggle sometimes, especially after the holiday season during the winter time. Mm-hmm. So the long-term strategy, what we want to do is develop this deer-wide management program. We're going to model it. I say model it after Upper Dublin and Cheltenham because they have a program in place. It's not exactly what we would do. It's not exactly what we would suggest. However, they do have a good reporting policy in place where they report to their board. Upper Dublin puts out a report every year, how many hours were hunted, who hunted where, how many deer were harvested, and what the effect was. I think that's very important to be transparent with not only the board but our residents. We want authorized hunters, not just anybody permitted to hunt if we were to allow them to hunt certain township-owned properties. And the target for that implementation would be later this fall, what they call the next hunting season, which would start approximately September or October. But again, we would like a little bit more time to work on that long-term program to make sure that we can do it in the safest and the most effective way possible.
This is good. I'll open it up for questions. I'm going to start with one, and then
Yes, sir.
So I think this is a great step. What are we thinking about in terms of Alverthorpe? Like, what do we want to get the population down to with that controlled hunt on the 24th?
Yeah, so it's hunting, so I caution people by that. You could see 10 deer one day, you could see 20.
Understood.
11. So what we've inquired about the group that we would like to hunt that is, number one, do they have enough what we call tags to harvest deer legally? You have to have the tags to harvest that. They do. I was told at last count they have over 90 available tags to harvest deer in their group, which is a substantial number given that we only have about 3 weeks left in this season.
Yeah.
So our goal would be to harvest as many deer as possible that they're legally allowed to take. I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that we would take out the whole entire deer population, and even if we did, there's 10 more probably in a yard.
Well, that's my question, right? Like, say there's 30 there that day, and we decide to take them. You take them all. I mean, there'll be 30 the next day.
There could be, yes, several more coming in.
Yeah.
But if we develop this
the longer range plan,
term,
agreed.
that's where I think we would address it.
So, in the interim, because there is a lot happening in my area, and at least one of my residents is here tonight. I'm sure is going to speak to this issue. How do we advise private homeowners in the interim? I feel, in fact, one of my residents, I think, got information from the Abington Deer Management and had texted me asking me if they were legit. I said, they were. But what advice should we be giving individual homeowners, if at all, about what they can and can't do?
Sure, they can absolutely reach out to our animal control officer, number one, to take a look at your property. You may not have a property that's legally able to be hunted.
Okay.
But our animal control officer could say, hey, even though your property does not have these substantial setbacks or what we call safety zone area, perhaps a neighbor 2 or 3 homes down does. If you could introduce us to them, we could give them some information and provide them with some options if they would like to permit hunters on their property. Now, Abington Deer Management's been hunting several properties through the township for many, many years. And there's even an additional group of hunters that aren't related. They're just friends of friends or friends of property owners that are legally hunting other properties. And there's no shortage of people that would like to hunt properties legally and effectively. So if they reached out to our animal control officer, we can probably point them in the right direction and give them some guidance.
That's helpful. Thank you. I'll open it up. Commissioner Spiegelman?
Thank you, President Hecker. I'm just going to preface this by saying I'm not a hunter, so I'm probably going to end up asking some very ignorant-sounding questions. Try to control your laughter. So obviously, I remember this body has authorized hunts in the past in Alverthorpe. As you mentioned, now a preponderance of the complaints are coming from over here on the west side of town. I know I've talked to a lot of people, and I think the general assumption, if not consensus, is that there's a very significant population in Hillside Cemetery. Obviously, we're talking. If you're talking about Alverthorpe this year, we would be talking about in the future. But I'm assuming that that's part of the discussion, that that's where there's likely for maybe the entire west side of town where that core population is located?
Yes, sir, that's one of the areas for sure. The Hillside Cemetery itself is not able to be hunted. You're not allowed to hunt the cemetery.
Okay.
However, most people don't know that the township owns about 80 acres that surrounds the cemetery on the one side. So that is one of the properties that we're looking at to evaluate to see if that can be safely done in some manner in the long term.
Is there any kind of possibility, and this might get some laughs, but of tagging and tracking any deer in order to find out where they den, and thereby sort of narrow, maybe very significantly narrow the area of action, whether it's obviously what we're talking about is hunting or any other possible option, to those areas where the deer have been actually GPS tracked to because somebody tagged them. Is that even any kind of possibility?
No, that's a great question. Penn State actually did a phenomenal study on deer movement several years ago, and he's continued to do some online. And you can track deer movement, and they can go for miles and miles and miles. Typically, what we find in suburban areas is that deer have a home range and a home area, and it's very limited in our areas. The wooded area that they travel between Hillside, where they're always getting hit with cars in front of Easton Road, Sergeant Fulgenetti just reminded me of that Bill, your neighborhood where they're coming out of, they're coming out directly, and that's where they're getting struck by cars.
Right.
So they concentrate to the small wooded areas and the suburban areas. So it's really not so much of a tracking and seeing where they're going. We know where they're at, and for the most part, as long as we can allow hunters to legally hunt that area, that's not a problem. And if they can't, we certainly are not going to break any laws or do anything like that or permit anybody to do that. So we just focus on the areas that we can legally do that. So I'm not sure tracking would help in this aspect because they can go for miles. And that's why we say, Cheltenham seems to be doing a somewhat effective job on our southern border and Upper Dublin, especially recently, that they're probably migrating over from Upper Dublin in some aspect.
And one more thing, and actually it pertains directly to that Cheltenham situation, which I had heard about, but honestly don't know a lot of the details. I'm assuming that there'll be an analysis of what happened there, what went wrong, what preventative measures could be taken in Abington, whether by Abington Deer Management or the department or whoever, to prevent anything like that from happening.
So I'll preface that by saying we don't know exactly what happened, but we do have some information limited that we were able to acquire because the timing is just terrible for that. Obviously, it just happened the other day. And what I can say is even before we would talk with the deer management group, they have rules and protocols in place that specific situation, that incident, could not happen in Abington the way it did there.
Okay.
Without getting into some of the information that we've heard, I think that probably explains it.
All right, thank you for indulging me, President Hecker.
Commissioner Brown.
Thank you, Chief. Can you discuss some of the hunting tactics briefly? You don't need to go into the weeds, but my concern is the type of ammunition that would be used, tools for the hunt, some of the strategies. Would it be tree stands? Would it be on foot, et cetera, et cetera? Kind of a shooting angle would kind of maybe put at ease some people's fears, shooting down versus shooting, horizontally. Can you go into that a bit?
Yep, great questions. Thank you, Commissioner Brown, and thank you for bringing that up. Yes, the number one rule is that they hunt from an elevated position. Number two, as far as weapons, just archery only. There are no firearms. There'll be no projectiles, solid projectiles fired. And to give you an idea of some of the protocols in place that we used last time that we think that we should institute this time, is that it's very meticulous. Everybody checks in. Everybody's licenses are checked. They go down to counting the arrows that a person takes into the woods, counting the arrows that they bring out. If one should happen to go missing, nobody leaves until that is found. So that's what they've done in the past, and that's what I'm suggesting, that we follow those protocols again. But no firearms, if that's your question, and everybody would be required to hunt from an elevated tree stand. That prevents other situations from happening. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Chrisman and then Commissioner Schreiber.
Sorry, just real quickly, Commissioner Rothman has a question. He just doesn't know if anybody can see him online.
It's hard. We'll get to him after Commissioner Schreiber. Drew, you're next. and then Commissioner Henry.
Last time we had this program, am I correct that there weren't any deer that were actually hit and or killed or whatever?
I don't believe that's correct. I'll look. The last time I'm looking at the couple members of the Abington Deer Management. The last time that the hunt was conducted there at Alverthorpe.
It was 13 the first year, 11 the second year, 9 the third.
13 the first year, 11 the second year, and 9 the third year that they harvested.
I had been given information that one time we did it, that no deer were actually. Are the deer ever injured and not killed?
I don't believe we've ever had one that was injured and not recovered, ever. None? Yeah, the members say none, and I don't recall any of that happening either.
Okay.
I did want to comment on something the caller said earlier. They mentioned other avenues for controlling deer population, and we know that other methods are very expensive, and I have information from a township north of us that has been doing the controlled evening. Basically, they hunt deer at night. The group comes in and they shoot them, the deer at night. And just to put it in perspective, in the last 5 years, they've spent close to $1 million to have a company come in and do that. Wow. I want to reiterate that this is absolutely no cost to the township, and I think that's very important now. I don't think we should be looking at Manager Chrisman, who's handling the budget here. I'm not trying to spend a single dollar for the township that we don't need to. So I just wanted to mention that, how expensive some of those programs can be.
So in addition, are there programs that, other than shooting them and killing them, is there birth control, that kind of thing?
Yes, you don't.
Looked in the past. That's also expensive? Or?
Extremely expensive and difficult to administer logistically, especially in an area like we're talking, because we have sporadic areas of woods. And typically in situations like that in the past, they've baited deer to a certain area and they control the population that way and administer different contraceptives and things like that, but extremely expensive.
So there's no like combo that for the long term that can be used?
I don't believe that would be fiscally even reasonable for that portion. No, ma'am.
All right, Commissioner Rothman, then Commissioner DePlacido.
Thank you so much. Thanks, President Hecker, and thanks for a great presentation and good solid answers. Appreciate it. Mostly everything's been addressed already that I had questions about. As to being the commissioner where Alverthorpe is situated, I don't recall in the past, and I don't know if there's any changes that have taken place over time, but would we be putting something in the mailboxes or at the doors of some of these residents that border the park, similar to what we've done when there's construction right around their house or something like that, to just let them know? My newsletter only goes so far, and I wish the readership percentage was as high as Spiegelman's was. But the reality is that I think that we might field a lot of questions that we could avoid if we got out in front of it communication-wise. And I'm just not sure if that's part of the plan or something that we might want to try to do if this proceeds on later this month.
Yes, that's a great question, Commissioner Rothman. Thank you for asking that. And yes, our plan would be to personally hand deliver some of these letters to the residents surrounding there. I think it's more effective. Plus, we can have a conversation with them, and they'd have a face and a name and a contact person, and provide them with some information, not only about the hunt and what the intentions are, but people that they could contact if they have an issue or a problem.
I remember, I think, God, I forget what year it was, but I believe you guys were overwhelmed with calls, and I know my phone was ringing, and there were people that were concerned and some that were a little angry, with young children and all that kind of stuff. And I know that no one's intent is to do anything but to help the residents here. And I would think that logistically, we would just want to be out in front of that and do everything we can to make people feel comfortable and safe. And I know there's a mix of opinion on all of this, but I think more than ever, residents have been reaching out to me with that particular complaint that's been shared throughout the day of the deer population and the dangers and driving and all that kind of stuff. So thank you, and I know that you'll be there for us if we have any questions after today as well.
Thanks, Drew.
And I'll put it in my newsletter.
Yeah. Commissioner DiPlacido.
Thank you, President Hecker. Chris, thanks for the presentation. My questions are about the timing. You'd mentioned something about night, and I saw up on the presentation the 27th. So I know there's Astra Lumina has their function. I know the days. I think it's only Thursday to Sunday, but I mean, is there any intent to go past the 27th or prior to the 27th or working something out with them, rather than have all the guys like shooting targets at those hanging light balls there or something like that? I want to make sure that there's nobody in the park at the time of the hunt.
No, that's a great question, and what we intend, Astra Lumina, as most of you know, runs in the evening hours. This would be in the morning. This has nothing to do with the evening. It'll start early morning hours, and would be done by 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And we wouldn't have anybody positioned anywhere near the Astra Lumina. We wouldn't let anybody position themselves near that operation.
Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Weingarten and then Vice President Bay.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Around the time of the hunt, I think we're talking the 24th.
Yes, sir.
Right? Can we expect police presence around the park to make sure that residents don't walk in, that everybody's safely away? I mean, I literally live across the street from there. I'm sure neighbors are going to, you never know, they walk their dogs.
Sure. That's a great question. And we know that residents are curious and they want to know what's going on, but I've already spoken with Chief Malloy about this, and the police department's committed, as well as Manager Chrisman, committed to providing the security that we need, adequate security for the park. It's not only the notification, but presence around the park to make sure that we don't have any issues there.
And it sounds like you're expecting maybe like a 6-hour closure?
Probably
8-hour
about
closure?
6 hours, depending on when daylight is. They usually come in the morning in the darkness, and then are out of there by 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
And as I understand, so there's a problem around the township, but it seems easiest, safest, with a limited time period, to do it at Alvethorpe Park, but there are plans to then look at other areas.
Yes, sir, that is, and in fact, Commissioner DiPlacido, I didn't address that second part of your question. You asked about pushing it on a longer date. The season is over the 24th. That is the last day of this year. So that's really, if you decide to vote on it, it's the next meeting, and whichever direction you decide to go, that would be the last date, effective date that we could make this happen, at least this year. Yes, sir.
Vice President Behe and then Commissioner Rosenbaum.
I would anticipate Lorimer Park is also a problem area, but that's a county park. Are we coordinating with county to get anything done there?
Yeah, great question, Commissioner Behe. Now, Lorimer Park used to do controlled hunts as well, run by the county. They have not. We have reached out to some of their personnel, and they currently are satisfied with the deer control efforts going on the backside of the park. They feel that they're being controlled, but that's something that we're going to revisit with them this summer to have a conversation with their leadership as well.
Thank you. Commissioner Rosenbaum.
I actually had the question about Lorimer Park.
Oh, I should have called on you first. I'm sorry.
And I was just wondering, do you know, what's the range of an arrow when you're in these hunts?
Well, it's nice to meet you too, by the way, Mr. Commissioner Rosenbaum. The range it depends on how it's shot, quite frankly. And that came up to the question Commissioner Brown had asked about the methods. So that's specifically one of the reasons why they hunt from an elevated position. Typically, most archery shots are 30 yards and in, 30 yards. But a range of an arrow, if you shot it up, and for, excuse my ignorance, a lack of a better word, Robin Hood style, it can go for quite a ways. But that's why we don't allow people to hunt from the ground position, firing straight out at anywhere. Typically, straight down shots. And the terrain dictates a lot of what happens there. And if you're familiar with Alvethorpe Park, for one, there are a lot of congested areas in there with trees. It's dense in certain areas with underbrush, things like that. So it's really limited on the length of the distance of shots you can take in most of the areas that we let the archers set up in there.
Thank you. Mr. Chrisman, just a question for you as we're contemplating the agenda from 2 weeks' time, recognizing that the broader comprehensive management plan needs to be filled in some, should we hold on that and vote on the hunt in January at the next meeting and allow that to be fleshed out a little bit further?
That would be a great recommendation. In order to get the last hunt of this particular hunting season accomplished, the board should take action on that piece most definitely in 2 weeks. the overall management plan for what happens beyond this current
Yeah.
hunting season, I think we could probably still.
We should work on that
Work on that
and
through the
get
summer.
further input from folks who have concerns and vested interest. I think that would make sense as we think through what the comprehensive approach should be. I know I have a number of residents that would welcome a treehouse in Jackson Park, and we would put your name on it if you want to do that, so just let me know.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments or questions for the Deputy Chief? We greatly appreciate this
Thank you, President
comprehensive
Hecker.
work, and we look forward to working together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, President.
Thanks
Hagan.
so much, Chris.
I'm sorry, really quick.
Okay.
If we have a special meeting, could we get 2 hunts in before the 24th? I'm just saying, is that feasible?
I don't know logistically whether that is possible or not. I would defer to, I don't know.
I mean, my recommendation would be, I'm going to defer to the solicitor for this particular question, not so much on the hunt, but on the fact that the particular matter that's before the board this evening was listed as discussion only. However, if the board were to take action this evening specifically on the hunt, is that permissible? Because then that would allow an additional 2 weeks to schedule potentially a second hunt before the season ends.
The Pennsylvania Supreme Court has recently clarified the rules on amending agendas, and it had been thought, based on some legislation from a few years ago, that there were only very limited circumstances when you could amend an agenda. The board could amend the agenda this evening if they wanted to vote on this matter. We would need a vote to amend the agenda, and it would have to pass. And then you would be able to vote this evening. We would also then have to repost the agenda on the website and on the door of the building within 24 hours of the amended agenda.
Okay.
So in essence, the ball's in your court. If you wish to amend the agenda to allow an additional hunt to occur between now and the next meeting in 2 weeks, we'd have to do that this evening.
Okay, well, I defer, I'm going to defer to others on this. I mean, as the presiding officer, I don't want to take a stand one way or the other.
Since I asked the question, I'll make a motion to put that forward.
Second. So the exact motion.
Yeah, we need wording.
Yeah, the exact motion is to amend the agenda to, we're approving the
Controlled hunt and
controlled hunt.
That would be 2 controlled hunts you would
Two
like
controlled hunts.
to happen up to January 24th. The other date we would look at would be the 19th, is what we've discussed with the park personnel. That's a Monday.
So that's Martin Luther King Jr.
That's Martin
Day.
Luther King
Yeah,
Day.
Okay.
For a temporary park
But
shut.
I don't think we want to say specific dates.
No, we don't. The 2 controlled hunts before the end of the hunting
It's a
season.
motion to amend the agenda to approve 2 controlled
that's a
hunts
bad idea.
prior to the end of hunting season on January 24th.
I think there was some discussion around if it could be done on another day other than the 19th.
It could be.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It could be.
All right, so I make a
have a-
motion to amend BOC 09010826 to include a vote on the proposed
We're going to 2 hunts.
2 hunts.
Yeah, 2 controlled hunts in Alberthorpe.
2 controlled
Park
hunts in Alverthorpe
before
Park
the end of the season.
Prior to the end of the hunting season.
prior
on
to the end of
January
the hunting
24th.
season on January 24th.
Okay.
2026.
Second.
For clarification, this is only a hunt at Alverthorpe?
Yes.
As opposed to somewhere else?
That's my understanding, yes. Go
So
ahead,
we-
Solicitor.
This is a motion to amend the agenda.
Yeah, we haven't even,
Okay, so.
we have a motion and a second.
My recommendation is that we
With-
take the vote on the motion to amend the agenda and then a motion to approve that motion, and then there should be discussion at that time.
So we're
So
now.
we need a second to amend, a
We
motion
have,
to amend.
we have a second
Okay, so we
so
have a
now I
second.
need to take a vote on that.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor of amending the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Let the record show, I think there were 2 in opposition, maybe 1 or 2. Who was the second? Drew, were you opposed?
I was not.
Okay, maybe it was just 1. I thought maybe.
I'm sorry, who opposed?
Commissioner Schreiber.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so now we have, so what's the next step, Solicitor?
Now someone should make a motion to approve two controlled. I
We'll
think
defer
Commissioner
to our
Vehia.
agenda expert.
Next item on the agenda is BOC-09-010826. Is a motion to approve 2 controlled hunts in Alverthorpe Park before the end of the hunting season of 2026, and I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any comments or questions on this? Commissioner Weingrad.
Mr. Porter, so would a second controlled hunt do any good? Would there be any benefit to that?
Most certainly, I would think so. It's more opportunity to harvest more deer, and as President Hecker mentioned earlier, typically after a first hunt, the park will repopulate after that.
I mean, is the thought that deer seen in other parts of the township could
Yeah, oh,
migrate
yes, sir.
to Alverthorpe, and then we could take care of that?
Typically, it's a condensed time period, but I would expect there to be some success with that.
Any other, Commissioner Henry?
This is a new question that I should have asked earlier.
That's okay, we won't hold it against you.
Thank you. Are there any restrictions on what deer you would be hunting? Not you personally, but are there certain deer that would be avoided, small or like anything in particular?
No, ma'am, no restriction, just that they have the proper licensing to harvest whatever animal it would be, whether it's a buck, a male deer, or a doe, female.
Mhm. Like even a baby deer? Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Spiegelman.
Thank you, President Hecker. I know this, obviously, the sort of, not surprise, but the last-minute nature of this puts a little, a little extra pressure on, first on Commissioner Rothman, and then in a close secondary way on Commissioner Weingrad, not to put additional pressure on them, but I would like to hear their take on it, to know that the commissioners in the most affected area are on board with this, if that's okay. Again, sorry, I don't mean to pressure my friends and colleagues, but I do want to hear your guys' opinions.
Commissioner Weingrad, do you care to answer?
I'm not here to give opinions. No, I think I've had a lot of, I've had both sides. But a lot of the people around me are concerned about deers. There are a lot of deer on the side of the road that have been struck. And it's really becoming, and then also vehicular accidents, and it's really becoming, on balance, a safety concern that more people are more concerned about the deer population than saving the deer population.
Commissioner Rothman.
I don't think any of us like the idea of harming any living thing. Sometimes this job is really difficult that we are in the position to do, and you have to make a decision where you're not 100% on board with the decision. And with that said, I'm elected to represent my residents over here in Ward 3, and I can tell you that with the people I've spoken to, it's overwhelmingly, and that I might be in some trouble if I voted against this right now. With that said, I did have another question, and I don't know if logistically it's something that we can't do, but anytime someone mentions some sort of positive dynamic of helping those in need who are hungry, it strikes a chord. I'm not sure if that's something that we can't do, or that's too late, or that is out of our hands, but if we can do anything that helps such people while this moves forward, I would love that if we could encourage that to be part of the process. So, but no, I'm going to be voting in favor of us doing this, and I do understand that there will be people upset about it, and that there's a bit of a rush to notify people, but we got to get that done for safety purposes in the township, in my opinion.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner Rothman. Any further comments or questions? We have a motion. It's been seconded. Looks like there's... Anything you want to inform us before we take a vote?
It's not related to the vote.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to vote if there was new information.
All right, I'll add it after the vote.
Okay.
No, sir, that's it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Opposed. One opposed.
One opposed. Okay.
And great job, Chris. Thank you for doing
Yeah,
it.
thank you, Deputy Chief.
I think Commissioner Rothman asked, I think this might be an opportunity, and we'll push it out through our social media platforms, but there's the Everbridge notification where our residents can go to member.everbridge.net. We'll share this later, and they can put, register for county notifications,
Oh, yeah.
messages.
Yeah.
So that would help with, in addition to trying to deliver to homes, this would be a good opportunity to push that out for other emergencies.
That's a good thought.
So that's all I wanted to point out.
Thanks,
Thank
Chief.
you.
Okay. So we'll now turn to the Finance Committee. And with that, Finance Committee Chair, Commissioner Stuart Weingrab.
Thank you, President Hecker. First up, FC 01010826, motion to adopt resolution number 26-008, authorizing the finance director and his/her designate to invest township funds in any and all such financial institutions as permitted by first-class township code, and I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Last item, FC 02010826, motion to approve the November 2025 expenditures in the amount of $3,027,355.16, and salaries and wages in the amount of $2,406,290.77, and authorizing the proper officials to sign and approve invoices and supporting documentation and payment of bills and contracts as they mature through the month of February 2026, and I so move.
So second.
It's been moved and seconded. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioners Rosenbaum,
Aye.
Rothman,
Yes.
DePlacido,
Yes.
Laney Martin,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Weingrab,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
DePone,
Yes.
Young Gertz,
Yes.
Spiegelman,
Yes.
Bowl,
Yes.
Schreiber,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Vice President Vehy,
Yes.
President Hecker.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
And that concludes the Finance Committee agenda items for this evening. Thank you, President
Thank you,
Hecker.
Commissioner Weingrab. We will now open it up for public comment. Anyone who wishes to speak, please come forward, state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
What you did is you described a done deal before we even walked in the door with the deer hunting. Evergreen has no living trees to speak of, none. The ones that are there are dying from ivy. There might be a brush fire. Karen Brook has nothing to brag about in terms of trees. They're all gone. So is the same with the Boy Scout Preserve. There might be a brush fire. You haven't taken care of the trees. And I was at Jackson today. The trees are dying. You can make your tree house with the wood that's there, and there might be a brush fire. You have destroyed the area. Rich people are rotting trees all over. Tell them to remove the ivy when they call about deer hunting. Their trees are covered with ivy and falling down. Approximately 40% of Abington homes are controlled by developers. And that's a small estimate. Developer-controlled homes stand out for their staggering level of blight. Developer-controlled homes have taken over Roslyn and Crestmont. That's about all there is, developer-controlled homes. Those that reside in these homes are expected to incrementally build blight. This is a job that people do, and it is not a secret. Everyone knows. It no longer matters who is listed on the deed. Developer-controlled homes have dangerous decay. This includes broken down boats, trucks, RV vehicles sitting on the lawns and driveways. Dead trees and trees choking from vine coverage are on these properties. Pile-ups of tires, construction debris, old toys, broken down furniture, gas and propane containers sit on these properties and are left to undermine the neighborhood. The worst of these homes are fire traps. Fire traps would not be here without commissioner approval. Why are firefighters not voicing concern about the junk piles, brush overgrowth, and broken down vehicles that sit on lawns and driveways? It'd be a public service to denounce the growth of fire trap housing. Parts of Elkins Park, Highland Farms, Edge Hill resemble slums. Homes directly across the street from the Toll family house are depots for construction vehicles now. There's no zoning for this. VIP developers get a free pass to allow those that reside in their homes to create dilapidation. Commissioners, why do you undermine home ownership? This is advancing poverty. Citizens involved with developers measure into the thousands. These citizens are voters that lobby for the needs of developers. They vote for the so-called Democrat commissioners that push the agenda of billionaires. Vote Yes was a bullying movement that supports extreme dense development, charter schools, and the destruction of affordable homes.
Please conclude your comments. Your time has expired.
Why do you refuse
Ms.
to
Kubel,
fund even
your
one
time has
aquarium
expired.
or one book collection for Briar Bush?
Please take your seat.
One aquarium and one book collection. Why do you refuse to fund it?
Take your seat.
No
Your time has
answer,
expired.
Dictatorship.
Take your seat. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak? Please come forward. Good evening.
My name is Andrew Dudley. I go to Rydell Elementary, and I wish the roads were safer so I could walk to my friend's house.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I live in Rydell. My name is Amelia Garbish, and I am a proud Abington resident. I want to talk, though, tonight about pedestrian safety and why Abington Township, I believe, needs both a formal traffic calming commission and a coordinated multi-municipal approach to dangerous corridors such as Old York Road. This is not an abstract issue. We have documented incidents in our township involving people on foot and bicycles being struck by vehicles, some with fatal and others critical outcomes. For example, in December of 2022, a 72-year-old woman was crossing at a crosswalk using her walker as she was crossing 611 to get to Abington Hospital. She was pronounced dead at the scene. In October of 2024, at Jenkintown Road and Abington Avenue, a vehicle ran a red light and struck a 13-year-old girl who had recently crossed using a crossing guard aid. Fortunately, she survived, but was that outcome because of luck or traffic mitigation and design? I'd also like to offer two brief personal examples. The day before Thanksgiving, I was out for a jog along Washington Avenue, crossing Autumn Road, which is not in a crosswalk, and I was nearly struck by a car. She did not see me. She just kept going. Had I not stopped, I fear perhaps I would not be here tonight talking with you. So what can we do? I believe we could create two traffic mitigation steps that might help improve our circumstances. First, the creation of a traffic calming commission, a commission where residents could actually formally petition and given real resources for their success, resources which might include an annual budget, regular scheduled meetings, and the flexibility to explore perhaps private or even neighborhood fundraising efforts to help offset costs of improvements such as speed humps, curb extensions, and other proven tools. Along with speed mitigation, the commission should be empowered to evaluate pedestrian infrastructure. We should look at crosswalks, mark them. We should use high visibility paint, and perhaps add strobes or beacons wherever appropriate. These features are signals to drivers to help them and to know that people are going to cross here. Lastly, I'm asking the township to advocate for and participate in a multi-municipal traffic safety and calming study of Old York Road. We know this is outside of our municipality boundary, and it's a team effort to bring this together. I realize my time is up, and I do thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you both coming out. Thank you both for making your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Please come forward. He's really cute.
Thanks. Joe Rooney, I live in Ardsley. First, this is a rare event, but thank you for the deer hunting vote and the discussion. I thought it was pretty good. Just out of curiosity, have any of you ever gone deer hunting? Anybody? Nobody's ever sat in the woods, looked for a deer? It's not that easy. If anybody's interested, we've had a couple of venison roasts at Christmas last year, and the 25 and 24. My wife does a great job, so you're welcome to come over if you're interested in one. Hunters are phenomenally safe. There's over 1.1 million deer hunters. Our woods throughout PA are full from beginning of October through January. People are using state game land 234 or 205 or anywhere else while people are out there hunting. So if I can reassure anybody like that, it's not cruel, and it's far worse to whack a deer and break its leg and let it go out into the woods than what a hunter does. So thank you for that. The second thing I'd like to do, it's a first meeting, there wasn't a second comment section. So Adele left and Laura Lehman left. I want to thank them for the tireless efforts they put in to keep our elected officials on track, our township employees on track, and to do the dang work that they can do. You can laugh, but they do really thankless job. And I think sometimes they're pretty rudely treated. And I'm sorry if people's presentations aren't all that they could be, but their hearts are always in the right place. And I appreciate that, and I thank them for the work they do. Last meeting was kind of a love fest, and everybody tatted each other on the back about how wonderful everything's like in Abington. Everything's not, for the new man, you probably know this, it's not all sweetness and light in Abington. So there's a few things that I just like to bring up from 2025 that I don't think worked so well. What we found out in 2025, it's okay to grow dope in Abington Township. It's okay to smoke dope in Abington Township. It's okay to build 150 row homes on 40 acres of open land in Abington Township, but you can't get a straw with your drink at Wawa. Somehow that's going to save the environment, okay? You can't get a plastic bag. You used a fraudulent presentation showing a whale from the Philippines with plastic shoveled in its mouth to pretend like that has something to do with Jenkintown Creek or Tookenny Creek or anything like that. So as far as that's concerned, where's the follow-up? How do we know if this bag ban was a success? Are we going to get a microplastics reading? I'm just asking you. You guys vote stuff in. It's meaningless. It's useless. It makes things more expensive and less convenient for people. Then how about the Economic Development Corporation? We heard about a lot of fraud coming out of a lot of government programs. What are we doing to make sure that this stuff isn't just the money's not being burned? Who's watching over it? And there seems to be endless consulting fees, including to Mr. Manfredi. Okay, I'm not quite so sanguine about the leadership. I wish everybody all the success this year. I'd love to work with you. Again, to our new man, there's a lot of places where you can stand out. I'd appreciate it to have a good critical voice. And thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? And if not, we'll turn it to Zoom.
Ross Abel.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Ross, thank you.
Awesome. Good evening. My name is Ross Abel on Washington Lane with Jenkintown Abington neighbors and Pike, Montgomery County. First off, I heard from Chief Malloy and Officer Coughlin today that the town's draft traffic calming policy is almost ready. So many thanks to them and our township management. I was super thrilled to hear that. Since 2016, PennDOT has recorded 236 crashes involving people walking or biking in Abington, 6 people killed, and at least 177 injured. It's about 1 crash every 2 weeks, and we need to take serious action. Nearby townships and boroughs are starting to put real traffic calming tools on the ground, from speed cushions and raised crosswalks to curb extensions and lane narrowing. And we know our public works team is totally capable of building these kinds of projects. And I really just don't want Abington and our residents to get left behind in protecting people from reckless driving. So next, I'm hoping that we'll be able to provide public input on that draft policy once released, ideally within the next month or 2 would be great. After that, please set a goal to adopt a traffic calming policy this year and establish a citizen-involved entity like a traffic calming commission, as mentioned by Amelia, for residents to participate and request changes to their own neighborhoods. Lastly, please pursue a multi-municipal traffic calming study of York Road, our most dangerous roadway. A similar effort has recently kicked off for Cheltenham Ave, and my hope is that the county would strongly consider an effort to make this corridor safer. It's not just out of our hands. Last night, I was driving north on York Road between Edge Hill and Old Welsh, and a scene unfolded in the dark that I've seen far too many times on this stretch of road with the mid-block crosswalks. 2 young ladies were trying to get across the road, and while I stopped for them, drivers continued to fly by in my adjacent lane leaving the girls frantically waiting in the middle of the road to pass safely. I was close to angling my car across the other lane to stop others for them to cross, but thankfully someone was turning and allowed them to get across safely. It's just, I see this happen time and time on this particular stretch. I see people not even using the mid-block crosswalks because it's just, nobody even stops for them. So people are always, and it's usually our black and brown neighbors, people just have to run across and hope. And I hate to see that, and I feel like it's just gonna be, it's gonna be moments until we see another death in this stretch. So please take it seriously. But thank you for all your efforts at the township. I appreciate you all. Let's make this town safe for all, regardless of how they get around.
Thank you.
Laura Lehman.
Laura Lehman, Meadowbrook, and I think I'm going to start with the deer issue. That again, it's a shame that there wasn't any place where the residents could have a joint discussion about this, or it could be properly vetted with them participating. We're using Cheltenham and Upper Dublin as our examples. Cheltenham, they just shot somebody with an arrow. And in Upper Dublin, one of the people that was up in the blind up high and shooting down fell out of the blind, broke his back, and became paralyzed. But as it turned out, he wasn't supposed to be in there at all. So although we hear that they're controlled hunts, and this was one, and everybody's supposed to be registered and trained, this guy wasn't, which we never would have known if he hadn't fallen out and gotten paralyzed. So this kind of thing is not as safe as you think it is. And that's what the problem is with this. And I think we need to explore more. I can't even imagine that we wouldn't be able to just literally use a dart to, you know what I mean, make the deer go to sleep. I'm missing the word, senior moment. And then administer a birth control. I don't think it's as hard as they make it. And so I think we need to spend more time vetting this with intelligent residents who know more about it. We can't just have, because there's hunters that want to do this, and it's fun for them. They're chomping at the bit to get in there. In addition, I want to say I have issues with, I have more about that, and I hope we have another discussion. And I'm really saddened to see that not only did you not follow the agenda that you published, but you also changed it and then voted on the issue right away. That's happening all the time now, and that is a violation of our rights to be a participant in our government. The police issues that I have are monumental. It's one after another after another. There was just a solicitor that was totally, literally lied. They had done this time after time. This is multiple times with the same company, and the police officer that came actually gave no shrift to what I was saying, but actually indicated that he was going to use his discretion and just let them go. And that's why they keep doing it. So they register one person and bring more people into the neighborhood. They have no registrations on them, and the people are not taught that these solicitors need to have a registration and a registration showing. They are dangerous when they don't follow the laws. And can you imagine hiring somebody that doesn't follow the laws to actually do work on your home? You can expect the same there. So,
Ms. Lehman, thank you. Please wrap up. Your time has expired.
okay, one more quick thing, and that
Go ahead.
was there's a police issue with our police chief telling people there was no money for signs. And of course, we have something like 20 to 21 million in our unrestricted account, and he only asked for 25,000 in the budget. So we have an issue with that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks.